Welcome to episode 10 of OTD, your daily dose of soccer history by 17 Laws Guy. Today is November 10, 1879. We are at Bramall Lane in Sheffield, a cricket ground moonlighting as one of football's earliest big stages. The flood of gates, the clatter of boots, the carnival mood for a charity match. And the opponents? The Zulus, a touring side in black costumes, beads and feathers, their faces blacked up, each player billed with a mock Zulu name. It drew crowds, it raised money. It also leaves us with a knot in the stomach today. But who were these Zulus? They were a short-lived Sheffield-based exhibition team, created in the immediate wake of the Anglo-Zulu War to raise funds for widows and orphans. The troupe was promoted by local impresarios, drew largely on good players from the Sheffield scene, and toured the region for charity fixtures. The gimmick was a theatrical presentation, an all-black kit, tribal adornment, stage names, and yes, painted faces. They sometimes processed onto the pitch with spears and shields to heighten the spectacle. In their second match, on this day in 1879, they defeated a Sheffield 11 by 5-4 at Bramall Lane, an early 9-goal crowd-pleaser. Seen through 1879 eyes, this was novel entertainment wrapped around a benevolent cause. Football plus pageant plus charity. Seen from 2025, the blackface and caricature are plainly racist. Bramall Lane had become Sheffield's hub for big football occasions, cup ties, picked 11s, money races, long before a national league existed. Sheffield wasn't just a busy football town, it was a laboratory. The Sheffield rules, codified from 1858, were the most influential alternative to the FA's London Code. Their experiments fed into the eventual unified laws, like use of the crossbar or tape, then later a bar, corner kicks, throw-ins by hand, the fair catches, slow death, and more. When the FA and Sheffield associations harmonized in the 1860s and 70s, a lot of what we now take for granted had been prototyped on these fields. Bramall Lane, meanwhile, was the big tent that could stage charity spectacles like the 5-4 match on this day in 1879. And as you heard in yesterday's episode of OTD, formal expulsions only entered the laws in 1881, 15 months after this match. Exhibition nights like this belonged to the freewheeling, still-forming age of the sport. In the 1870s and early 1880s, there wasn't yet a national league. That comes in 1888. And professionalism was still technically banned in England until 1885. Clubs thus filled the calendar with local cups, friendlies, and exhibitions, often explicitly for charity. These games built audiences, tested rules, and, crucially, brought in money. The Zulus were part show, part fundraiser, part football. But the same showmanship that drew crowds also drew suspicion. As gate money swelled, whispers about improper payments, they followed. In Sheffield, a storm broke when allegations of professionalism around Zulu fixtures in 1881 led the locally popular Wharncliffe Charity Cup to be cancelled after multiple suspensions of players across several clubs. So by 1882, the troupe disbanded after charges of, quote, bringing the game into disrepute. Within a few years, the ground had shifted anyway. Professionalism became legalized in 1885, the Football League was launched in 1888, and match calendars began to harden around league points rather than pageants. Through the 20th century, other forces squeezed out the old exhibition lane. Cross-border tours became a revenue stream and brand builder. Then followed organized European competition after the mid-1950s. And later, and all the way till today, the TV rights era which monetized competitive fixtures so richly that scheduling one-off spectacles at home just lost oxygen. So how do we tell this story? Honestly. On one hand, November 10, 1879 at Bramall Lane was classic early football. 9 goals, a packed ground, and real money raised for bereaved families. On the other, it leaned on racist caricature to sell tickets. We can acknowledge the charity impulse and the community joy without flinching from what the branding was. The Zulus are a time capsule, a reminder that football's growth was not just about tactics and trophies. It was also about showmen, stunts, and social blind spots we need to name out loud. From Sheffield rules experiments to Bramall Lane's great charity crowds, from exhibition troops to the professional league age, this city helped midwife the modern game. And nights like the Zulus match help explain why football took hold. It could be communal, spectacular, lucrative, and, too often, unthinking about who got caricatured to match to make the turnstiles click. That's all for the 10th episode of OTD, your daily dose of soccer history. Sheffield Zulus, their 9-goal night, and the uneasy legacy of an early crowd puller. Please subscribe, rate us 5 stars, and share with anyone you know, and whomever you're sitting next to when you're at the stadium. Drop us an email at otd@17lawsky.com if you'd like us to put a story on the show. Tomorrow, November 11, we go even further back, to 1871, and to the very first matches in the FA Cup, the oldest still existing tournament in the beautiful game. See you then.